Alright, in this video I'm going to show you how to actually configure WebBreaker with an already installed WebInspect instance. So in front of me I have my WebInspect desktop, and I'm going to go ahead and turn on the REST API for WebInspect. So you could simply locate that by typing in Fortify, launch that, and this icon should show up in your tray. You want to configure WebInspect API. I would recommend turning on authentication. WebBreaker supports basic. These other ones we don't support. And I would recommend turning on HPS. You'll want to edit your passwords. Default ones are here, here. I added this one. Probably want to get rid of the defaults as well. Alright. So now that we have SSL turned on, we've set the passwords, we want to go ahead and start. In this demonstration, I'm going to turn this off, but continue to show you how to configure that in WebBreaker. So I'm going to start the REST API. And now I'm going to go over and download WebBreaker for my command line instance. So here's the landing page at webbreaker.io, and I'm running High Sierra, so go ahead and download that. Once that's downloaded, what you want to do is go to your downloads folder and actually rename that and move that maybe into your path. Rename that. You want to make that executable. Test it out. Great. Looks like it's running. So by running that command, I would have already created my configs out of the box. And what I'll want to do is actually reconfigure my first server. You could add multiple servers, and these endpoints here actually interpolate your servers that you set up. So with each instance of WebInspect, you'll want to go ahead and create 2 lines like so, so on and so forth. Large, medium, small are basically resource size, or it could be maybe scan lanes. It's up to you to determine how you want to define that, but you could basically dedicate certain WebInspect instances towards your own needs on how you want to dedicate those scans, or maybe not. So I'm going to go ahead and get the IP of my WebInspect server and start configuring this. I know I'm on the 192.168 network where my VM is running. All right, great. So the last couple of octets there is 162.134. Go ahead and type that in. And the default port is 8083. So that's all you need. If you note right now I don't have a username or password, not supporting authentication. If you want to do that, you want to change that to true, and the command that you want to run to configure encrypted symmetrical username and password values will be the following. Admin, credentials, and then the product. So we support Fortify, SSC, and also WebInspect. And this should prompt me for that. Cool. So if I go over to my config, I should see the Fairnet values encrypted here, and the authentication set to true. I'm going to set that back to false for demonstration purposes. And I'm going to go ahead and test out the WebInspect instance. By the way, the key for your encrypted values is generated uniquely with each install. So you can see the key there. And also, in addition, as long as we're in the config section here, there is the etc directory and WebInspect as well here, directory, and that will actually clone our repos here. So the way that WebInspect or WebBreaker persists settings, policies, and web macros is actually through a GitHub repo. In this case, I do have one here that's public for demonstration purposes, and you'll want to name your repo WebInspect. So the public one is here, directory structure is here. You can see I already have some sample settings files to work with, and also some web macros too. Cool. So simply testing this out, I could type list, looks like I have SSL configured for this, so I'm going to correct that. So I'll try that again. See if that works. All right, awesome. I can see some of the scans that are already there that I ran previously. Now, let's say I want to actually launch a scan. Now that I have it configured, I can do that with simply typing WebBreaker WebInspect scan -- settings. And if you remember correctly, I do have some settings here. I'm going to go ahead and use this 0 bank one. So how I do that, since I have my repo configured, and I'll show you where that's configured if you want to configure one of your own, under the WebBreaker directory in your home, so you can see that there. I want to go to back to my config, and then my Git is under WebInspect, and you can see here, this is the same location as what I pointed to previously here. Cool. So you'd want to change that according to your needs. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the scan. I know now that if I simply type in the name and leave off the .xml, you could put it, append it as well. It's not going to hurt things, but it'll know where to look under that etc subdirectory. All right, so you can see it cloning here, and now we're looking for WebInspect servers to